discussions, but only limited progress so far.
Okay, John, thank you. Let's get more analysis on this with Dr. Sultan Barakat, who is a professor at the College of Public Policy at Hamad Bin Khalifa University. Welcome to the programme. What's your analysis of this latest exchange between Iran and the US and how serious it is?
Good morning. Well, I think it's been very carefully calculated, these retaliations, and it's not as serious as what we had in the past. What is going on is both countries are trying to assert their own understanding of what has been negotiated in the MOU. So if you take from an Iranian perspective, they've been required to do three things. Number one was to remove obstacles from the strait. And number two, to restore the traffic, particularly commercial ships. And number three was to engage with Oman on a future mechanism. And I think they must have interpreted that as giving them the authority to clear, or at least to declare a certain route as cleared. So there are no mines. This is in their mind is the safe way to go. This is the route that comes under their direct authority over the coming 60 days. And they've been trying to impose on shipping companies to go through this particular route. Some have chosen to go different routes and have received certain attacks from the Iranians, who, of course, are learning the game from the Israeli playbook, that we can have a full ceasefire, but some rogue elements, some sides of us can break it. There could be incidents, but within a largely respected ceasefire. And I think the US, what they've done is to try and show the Iranians that they are serious and they have slightly different understanding, which they reaffirmed with the Gulf states, that the whole strait is open and free shipping across it. And this is why they've chosen to retaliate for the targeting of the cargo ships first, and then now the oil tanker.
Yeah, a pretty serious threat and warning again from President Trump. Not the first time we've seen this, with very strong words warning about Iran violating the ceasefire and threatening them with finishing the job if they carry on like this. Do you think there's any actual substance behind this threat now? Or is this just going to be part of the playbook for both sides for the coming weeks?
I mean, unfortunately, on Trump's side, we've heard him say similar threats before, and he could not really carry them through. He's very much against the wall at the moment, and it's that made him give such a huge concession in the MOU. So it's very unlikely that he will carry it through, given the local politics within the United States, and the fact that the four main assumptions on which he based his war have not materialized. He started on the assumption that the Iranian people will rise, and they didn't. The Kurds will carry arms against the government, and they didn't. The Gulf states will engage in a war against Iran, and they didn't. And finally, and most importantly, that his allies, including NATO, European countries, and others, will come to his help to impose the blockade. He's on his last foot politically in relation to this war, and he wants to bring it to an end. The issue here is about credibility and legitimacy of the United States securing the Gulf in relation to the Gulf states. And I think the real concern now from the Gulf states is that the strait it sounds as if it's been handed over to Iran because of the agreement and the item within the agreement that calls for Iran to negotiate a mechanism with Oman, which means, and in fact, in that agreement, it does recognize the territorial waters of Iran and Oman over the Strait of Hormuz. So it does sound as if he's handed it over to the Iranians, and that caused a lot of concern amongst the Gulf states. And of course, he did not tackle the missile and the drone program that Iran owns and operates effectively.
Dr. Sultan Barakat, really interesting to get your thoughts. Thanks for being with us.